everyone, and welcome to The Swamp. The Swamp is an acronym which stands for
Some Whack-Ass Movie Podcasting.
And today we have an extra special guest with us. I am honored to even be in her presence, my mother, dearest Jen.
Hi, I'm so psyched to be part of the pod.
So we obviously had to have Jen on this month, especially because it's Oscar month, so we kind of have this long-running tradition. You and I kind of tuned in for the last leg bit of the Oscars, I believe in 2015 when Birdman won, and we were like, what the hell is this? And we were like, damn, I wish I could have an opinion. And so the next year, we started The Quest, as we call it, and we watch since the year that Spotlight won, which was the following year, we have seen every single nominated movie, and we make it a point to do so. This year is a little different because the theaters aren't open, but usually, even when we have lived far apart from each other, we always go to the theater together, we see all the movies. It's definitely a long-standing tradition. I wouldn't say we love the Oscars, but we certainly love getting to have an opinion about it. So I love getting to hate the Oscars and be valid.
Yeah. And I would also say it was much harder when we first started doing it because you had to go to the theater. Nothing was, you couldn't stream anything, you couldn't get anything on demand.
Yeah, since the rise of the Netflix original movie, it certainly has made things easier. I remember when we used to be struggling at the last few days to try to find, those movies that weren't really out a lot. But it's certainly gotten easier over the years. But it's always a lot of fun, and I love doing it with you. So this month, we really wanted to have you on as a guest, and you'll be on again for our special Oscars episode.
Can't wait.
Really excited to talk about our opinions, but that's not for right now. Right now, what we're talking about is Jen's pick. So we all kind of discussed what we thought we should talk about for Oscar snubs, because that was our theme. And I'm gonna apologize up front, because you had a lot of ideas, and I really shot you down. I was pretty mean.
Which is typical for our lives.
Just putting you on blast right now.
No, I fully will take credit for, you came to me with, 8 ideas, and I was like,
There was, a lot of good movies on the list, too. A lot of, critically acclaimed films. And we landed on Marvel.
So we ended up watching Thor Ragnarok. So I hate to say, why did you choose this? Because it was probably your 25th choice that I was fine, because I'm so mean. But
it comes full circle, because I was inspired by Henry, as I told you guys. He said, we were talking about snubs, and he said, well, I would take anything the year Titanic won. So then I was thinking I would take anything in 2017, because I thought the list of nominees was not that good that year. And Shape of Water was the winner, and Phantom Thread was nominated, which was the worst movie I have ever seen. So I looked up a list of 2017 movies: Spider-Man Homecoming, Baby Driver, Thor Ragnarok. So we decided to pick this Marvel movie for that reason.
Yeah, we were gonna go for Baby Driver, but just a movie starring 2 rapists just doesn't seem quite chill for the pod. So Thor Ragnarok was a close, fun second, and we thought it would be a fun catalyst for the conversation of popular movies in the Oscar arena, or the awards arena per se. So watching something that probably would never have even been considered, I think it's gonna be quite interesting, and I'm glad that you picked a really fun movie.
Yeah, we came off of just watching Midsummer and talking about Midsummer, and that was super dark. So getting a chance to, just relax and watch a movie was a lovely time.
Yeah, right, I could shut off my brain and just be like, no think, just fun.
And something that was literally light, with rainbows and sparkles.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do want to say that I think that this movie's so visually fun, even if you kind of do turn off your brain and you aren't fully reading into everything that's happening, or even paying much attention to the plot. It's so, 80s inspired, really fun scenery, a lot of very colorful, like you said, compared to maybe some of the older Thor movies, which are, a little darker and grittier, or just compared to Marvel, which can sometimes be a little up its own asshole with seriousness. Iron Man is mad at Captain America, and they're gonna have who fucking cares? This is Jeff Goldblum and blue eyeliner. There are rainbows, there are Pegasuses. It's Pegasi?
It's everything I could want. Yeah, I think, I don't know.
Pegasuses? But
it's up for interpretation.
It's definitely a very fun movie. I remember seeing it in the theaters with you and Henry, and I feel like we liked it a lot. And this was kind of the time.
Did we see it together? You, I, and Henry?
And Aaron and... you, me, Henry, Aaron, and Neil. and we all met up in Braintree. I'll cut this out. We all met up in Braintree, and then we got Five Guys, burgers and fries afterwards.
That's a great time.
You are correct.
Yeah.
I shout out to Erin and Yeldo.
Yeah. A shout out to Erin, who gave a very detailed analysis of this movie via text, and I will be regurgitating some of the points, but I just want to claim that anything smart I say going forward is probably me saying some iteration of what Henry has said or what Erin has said, because they are both very comic book smart people.
And realistically smart people.
Yeah, smart in other ways, but specifically in the realm of comics, certainly more knowledgeable than I. Mm-hmm. But what I do know is that this movie kind of came out during a time where I was definitely losing a lot of faith in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not that I've ever been a huge fan, but I always just thought that they were kind of fun to see. You know, they're fun movies to go to the theater to. And this kind of was coming to a point where Marvel was kind of taking itself a little too seriously for my liking. And the crossovers and the you having to understand 15 layers of backstory in order to... And I didn't like it. I didn't get it. And in all honesty, it just is annoying. I'm just going to say it. It's fucking annoying. And this movie takes that and flips it around.
Kind of stands on its own.
It's just fun. And it's what a superhero movie should be. Entertaining, fun, campy.
Good music.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Don't get me started.
How do you think this compares to other, Marvel superhero movies as a genre, but maybe specifically Marvel?
I think it's a lot of people's favorite. I think it's the best Thor movie for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And star-studded cast, and like we were saying, so many scene stealers. It had such a star-studded cast. Taika Waititi is a scene stealer. He's so funny. And he improvised a lot of this movie, or
I guess he encouraged a lot of the actors to do a lot of improv, basically just giving them basic outlines about like the vibe he wanted. But I guess he really thought that Chris Hemsworth was a really funny guy, and he didn't think that shone a lot with Thor the character. So he's like, I want more of you in it, and I really do think Thor is the most likable he ever is in this movie. And Taika Waititi, I think he's a great director. I think he just knows what a fun movie is. Just Jojo Rabbit, I think, is a great example.
Oh my God. He made like a full-on like...
He made World War II fun.
Yeah, he made the Nazis fun. That's really hard to do.
No, I just think he's great, and I think he knows how to bring the fun and the best out of the actors he's working with, because I think everyone in this movie you can tell that they're having a good time, or at least they're pretending to. And I guess you said that about 80% of this was either like ad-libbed or improvised. And I think that's really cool. If you create the atmosphere that lends itself to like funny discussion, then you get usable content. So the plot of this movie is fast and loose, I would say.
I really appreciate that about it too.
That if something is happening that you don't quite grasp, it's fine, because 5 minutes later something different will be happening.
As someone that's pretty much seen like no Marvel movies, I really appreciated this film a lot, because like you said, I really don't need to know everything. The Hulk is the Hulk. Thor's there. I know the background of Loki and all that stuff. And
even if you don't understand those like idiosyncrasies and the inter-character relationships, you get a sense about it though.
Yeah,
they lay it out flat.
Every like you said, every other Marvel movie I've seen is up its own ass, and I've gotten through the first 4 probably. I just watched the first Avengers movie.
Yeah,
and I'm already sick. I'm already sick of it. But this was so refreshing, and now I just can't wait for the other hell I have to go through.
I would say there are drops of sunshine within the MCU that I think are worth watching.
What do you think are those?
I mean, I love Spider-Man personally, and I think it's always been a fun character, and no matter how much the MCU will fuck up Spider-Man, I will always find him entertaining and fun. And I will, even the Andrew Garfield ones that suck, I will still go and watch those movies because I like them. So I think those are fun. This is certainly a good breath of fresh air. But I do agree that a lot of the muddy middle section, they put the MCU into phases, which I don't fucking understand, but I guess
they just got into phase 2 now or something. No,
phase 3 ends with Endgame, which is the end.
Oh.
So phase 1 is a lot of the
The early, like,
Captain
introductions.
America.
What do you call origin stories?
Yeah.
A lot of the origin stories introducing, and then phase 2 is that really muddy middle section with
I just got to
Civil War
Yeah.
and like all just like I don't care.
Yeah, I'm in phase 2. I'm
Which
not
is
looking
where
forward to
they
it.
basically decided, let's make everything mesh together.
And they just did it really choppy.
And that was the end of that discussion. They were like, yep, okay. And then nobody ever consulted with each other on how that would, a strategic way to do it. They just did it, and
They
it was
just
awful.
jammed it all together, and they're like, this works. And it's like, no, it doesn't.
I mean, but they were all box office hits, and people saw them, because
that's
I
what
guess
matters.
you kind of do need to get through that irritating middle section to get to the end, which is like the big fights, Endgame, Infinity War, whatever. But this was certainly, like I said, a huge breath of fresh air.
Diamond in the rough.
phase 3, I guess, phase 3, because this was the movie that came out right before Infinity War. So it was kind of like, shit's getting kind of intense, but like, no, here's like a nice, fun moment. If you're really into the MCU, I mean, I know I saw all of them in theaters just because they are such great movies to see in the movie theater. It's so fun. I don't know. That's the experience you need for a Marvel movie, I think.
I definitely agree with you that they need to be seen in the movie theater, because some of the Oscar noms don't have to be seen in the theater. By
No,
any
like you
stretch,
said,
like the quieter movies.
Especially nowadays when some of them are Netflix originals or Amazon Prime originals.
You're never going to see him in a theater.
Yeah, it's just
not even available in theaters.
But I would say that this, in the context of an Oscar snub, is it's not the most obvious
stretch.
choice. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I do think it has a lot of really great actors in it, and it happens to have a lot of great actors who are snubbed in our opinion. You know, a lot of great people who have not been recognized. Not to say that this is the movie they should be recognized for, but just people who were included in this film.
Just
who are
say,
great.
Just say you think Matt Damon should be nominated for this, and just go.
Supporting actor.
I think Matt Damon, for his 45 seconds of screen time, just really shone in this movie.
That was really abrupt and honestly a bit scary for me.
It was Matt Damon and Luke Hemsworth playing Thor and Loki in a stage production. So I think it was like kind of a meme-y, like funny moment that they were going for. But yeah, it was very jarring. You're like, wait, what the fuck? Is that Matt Damon in a wig?
And the Jurassic Park guy played Odin, Sam Neill.
Just whenever Matt Damon pops up, like really abruptly, it's shocking. Like I need to take some.
Warn me.
Yeah.
But he's highly regarded as an Oscar snub, though. People think he should have. He won for writing for Good Will Hunting.
And I think that I can agree with. I think that was very
you don't think his
I don't
actor
agree.
work deserves?
I think he was good. Who won that year? Like over him is my question.
Right.
I will step in and I will say a controversial opinion that I don't think Good Will Hunting is a good movie by any
is very
stretch.
controversial.
I think it's fine.
I don't think anybody would agree with fine.
I think it's fine.
I
I think Matt Damon is a fine actor, and that's the
you say fine like it's a bad thing.
6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. You know, better than average, but just he's fine. And I certainly wouldn't say, out of all the people in this movie, you're gonna give Oscar snub to Matt Damon?
Well, we were also saying Idris Elba was
Idris-
considered an Oscar snub. And then...
And he's great in this movie. Again, for someone with so little screen time, I think he really does this movie justice.
To be fair to Matt Damon a little bit, Jack Nicholson is the one that won in 1998 for As Good as It Gets. So like, really, you're not
winning.
No, you're
Matt
not.
doesn't
You're
beat
not
Jack.
winning. Little like 20-year-old Matt Damon.
I think if you survey people, 10 out of 10 pick Good Will Hunting over As Good as It Gets, though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, but the performance obviously is different.
well, I just haven't seen it because it's.
Don't worry, don't bother.
I feel like a lot of people haven't.
But this movie does feature 2 pretty prominent Oscar winners. Kate Blanchett plays the main villain in this movie, and she's awesome. She's so good. She's great in everything she does, but especially this is kind of something that was a little different for her.
This is very different for her. I've
And
never seen her in something like this before.
She did this movie because her kids told her to.
Good.
Yeah, her kids were like, we're huge Marvel fans, you should get in on that. And then she was like, okay, I guess.
She fucking killed it.
Oh, she's the dark eye makeup.
Stop.
Just the posture and the voice. Honestly,
How she can change into that hat.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, she just gets villainess.
That is acting.
Like, yeah, for sure.
I feel like she hasn't done a lot of, like, big, like, villain roles. It's always, like, very serious dramas and everything like this, and so this must have been just a very fun role for her.
Yeah.
Like, you really get to play someone else, and it's big, it's campy, and it's
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure
book.
the filming environment was probably really different than what she's used to, because it's something really fun like this. I'm sure she could just kind of try her best and have a good time with it, and it was still awesome.
This wasn't like Carol or Blue Jasmine or anything like that.
Imagine she just code switches into her character from Carol during the middle of this movie in full Hella. Is that her name?
So yeah,
Hella costume.
Yeah,
so I totally
it's, like, very
agree,
1950s. She's like, I'm there.
She does the hair into the hat thing, but she just becomes a blonde, like a 50s blonde.
She's got a mink coat that goes on.
Where did Rooney Mara come from?
Long cigarette.
And then I guess some other, like, really great actors in this movie who, like, maybe are not really part of the Oscars conversation, but definitely still worth noting, like, people that are like, oh, that person's fun. It's like Jeff Goldblum is in this, and he just breathes a lot of life into this movie. Carl Urban plays kind of a funny character. So yeah, just a lot of really famous people.
Don't forget Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, Tessa. Yeah, I mean, she.
Can't believe it took you so long to bring her up.
She plays a much more important role later. Because
but this is her introduction, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, has she really ever been considered for any big awards? She's still kind of an up-and-comer, I would say.
Not that I know of. The first thing that I ever saw her in was, like, Janelle Monáe's, like, Dirty Computer type film, and this is the second thing I've ever seen her do.
Oh,
she was
really?
a girlfriend in Creed.
Yeah, she was in Creed. She was really great in Westworld, which is a TV show,
I haven't
obviously.
watched it yet.
And she was in Sorry to Bother You, which was also really good. I consider her a big up-and-comer. Like, we have yet to see the last of her, and she's going to do big stuff. And she's so great in this movie, too. Again, I think she really leans into the fun environment of it. I think she really took advantage of the, like, loose...
She mastered, like, the neck crack.
Yeah. Right, like the swagger and the walk and the, like, I don't give a fuck attitude. Yeah, she's definitely, I would say she's probably my favorite character in this movie. At least because this is where we get introduced to her in the MCU, and she's just so fucking cool.
Her walk-on for the whole thing is so funny. Like, oh my god, just drunk as shit. And you fall off your spacecraft. Relatable.
I will say, like, I do think that her situation with alcohol is a little, like, unaddressed in this movie.
Yeah.
Because they, like, fully insinuate that she's an alcoholic. But then it's always used as the butt of a joke, but then somehow...
which is not cool.
Which is, like, not really super funny, but then it's somehow used to, like, Thor gives her a new outfit, and she takes down her ponytail, and suddenly she's sober? Like, this all happens within the span of, 48 hours? Yeah. I don't understand. But yeah, I do think the alcoholism was a bit of a butt of a joke at some points. But it did make me laugh.
Yeah, no, Marvel kind of does that because as a recent viewer of some of the earlier ones, it's just like, was it, Iron Man 2, Tony just becomes, like, an alcoholic, and, like, I've yet to see it addressed, like, since, because that's as far as I got, but I don't think it does it.
I think there are a lot of things from the first two Iron Man movies that need to get addressed that never have been addressed, so, I mean, not to say that that's the least of them, but the fact that one of the main villains is called the Mandarin, and is an Asian person is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And I don't really see people talking about that, so
very true.
I think Marvel's one of those, like, we are cajillionaires and we can do
just
say whatever we
yeah.
want, so, like, if you're gonna criticize us, fuck you, we'll have you taken out.
Just brush you under the rug.
You know? That. So.
And one more thing about Tessa Thompson, though, when her ship goes all Transformers behind her.
So
cool.
sick.
Like, more on the entrance. Yeah.
That was very, like, Pacific Rim,
Real
Steel type, like, you know, the human is in control of the larger machine. I'm bummed we didn't get to see that more later in the film, because that really could have come in handy. Right? She's fighting with, like, knives. No, get your fucking robot up in here. Are you kidding?
While we're on the topic of some standout performances in this, can we talk about Jeff Goldblum a little bit?
I love Jeff Goldblum. They were like, just show up. And he showed
Just
up
be yourself.
in blue eyeliner in a robe, and they're like,
With
great,
flip-flops.
you're already dressed. And
this was just another Wednesday for Jeff.
Yeah, he's totally, when they say that 80% of this movie is improvised, 100% of Jeff Goldblum was in for it. They didn't give him any, they didn't even tell him the plot. They're like, show up and just have fun with it.
It's like have you seen that video of Gwyneth Paltrow being like, wait, I was in that Iron Man movie? Or I was in that movie? That's exactly how Jeff Goldblum thinks about this.
It's a fever dream.
He was just all vibes.
Yeah, that's it. No, he's a steam sealer for sure if we're talking about, people who really are standout performances. And even, like, he just looks so dramatic. Like, the costuming, his presence, his role in the movie as, like, Grand Master of a trash planet. Like, that's so fitting.
Yeah, that's on brand for Jeff Goldblum.
Like, who else could carry themselves in a way that is fitting for that role? No one.
Yeah, like, I was gonna say, the casting for this is impeccable.
For sure.
I heard that also... Taika Waititi wanted John C. Reilly to have some kind of part to reprise his Guardians of the Galaxy role because I guess he's a big fan, but he couldn't work him into it.
Yeah.
Which would have been another, like...
Yeah, that would have been really funny.
Could have been a great moment.
Taika himself does the voicing for
That was
Korg.
so funny.
And I don't know if this is correct or not, but I think it was like the MTV Awards or like the Teen Choice Awards or something where Korg, the character, was up for standout performance. And
Good.
I don't know if he won, but I voted for him a couple times.
Some people, like, does his accent make everything he says funnier, or he's just funny anyway?
I think the dialogue in this movie is really smart.
Yeah.
And it's all very, like, kind of surreal and funny and punchy in a way that, when certain characters have dialogue in situations that doesn't really make a ton of sense, it's very funny. And I would say this is probably the funniest Marvel movie in my opinion. Certainly is more leaning on the side of comedy than like action drama. But I know Taika Waititi said that he based the character Korg off of in New Zealand, like the bouncers of clubs.
Oh my god.
And like are really big guys, but everyone in New Zealand is very friendly and nice. So he's like, yeah, I just wanted this big muscular guy who like looks intimidating, but very soft spoken and a nice guy, because that's maybe not what you would expect. But he said that a lot of club bouncers in New Zealand are like that. And I think that's pretty funny that he kind of drew from personal experience.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was thinking like a lot of the scenarios that they wind up in seem like very like typical superhero type thing. And while I was watching, I was like, oh, it's gonna go one way, and then it went the entire opposite direction. And that just made it all the more funnier and all the more entertaining.
Because I do think that a big fault of these superhero movies is that you know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And you're
it's
like,
so predictable.
You're like, I know what's coming. And even though the good guy does win in the end in this one, because that's what happens, it still went in a roundabout way that still kind of maybe subverted some of your expectations.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I love, there was a recent video that's been going around Twitter. I mean, not filmed recently because Stanley is dead, but just it's been circulating around Twitter.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. to a legend.
Should we pour one out for Stanley?
Yes, yeah. But so this video, I saw it on Twitter pretty recently. And he was talking about, somebody asked him who would win in a fight, and whatever, they said like Spider-Man or Thor or whatever. And Stanley's like, well, whoever I pick. He's like, well, he's like
such a badass.
It's true. He goes, well, if the comic is a Thor comic, then I'm gonna pick Thor to win. Maybe if it's a Spider-Man comic, I'm gonna pick Spider-Man to win. He's like, it doesn't matter whose abilities factually will stack up against the other one. It's the way I want the story to be told that I think will be the most interesting. And I think that totally just like bonks on the head so many like arguments that comic book nerds probably have.
100%.
I think Superman is better than Batman. Like, no, it's just silly. It's just silly, entertaining storytelling. And in this one, if it's Hulk versus Thor, it's whatever they want it to be. It literally doesn't matter. So I just think that's like
so many comic books were just like created, and then I'm just ripping this from all of my friends that watch like the comic book movies and read the comic books. Like, so many of these were just created by like people in the 70s that were like doing a ton of acid.
it's not supposed to make sense.
No, and they just wrote these stories because it was interesting and fun. Like,
no, which is truly, I think, a good reflection in this particular MCU movie, because I think around this time it was getting a little too like Iron Man versus Captain America. Who will win? Let's think about it logically. And this movie's like, no, it's supposed to be fun and funny, and that is the root of what comic books are supposed to do. They're supposed to be entertaining and like silly and cool. And I think that this movie is good.
I really like that in this one too. They give you the whole like Thor versus the Hulk thing. They don't give you a clear winner too, which was really kind of like a big middle finger to all those people like who would win in a fight.
Yeah.
It's like you don't get to know.
I do want to, like, rip from Henry, so, like, Henry's pretty smart about this kind of stuff, and I remember he had a lot of thoughts when we first saw it in the theater that I remembered to have him remind me, so I told him that I would verbatim rip him off. So, here
it is.
I'm giving credit to him in this respect. This is not my, like, knowledge. But this movie was kind of the combination of two pretty iconic comic books, one being Planet Hulk and the other being Thor Ragnarok. So basically everything that takes place within the trash planet and the fighting and the Grandmaster, the champion, all of that stuff, basically all the really fun campy stuff is from Planet Hulk, but Thor was no part of that. And so then they kind of took the storyline from Thor Ragnarok, which was like the familial conflict.
He loses his hammer.
Yeah, and they kind of put them together, which I think was pretty smart. I would say that I traditionally prefer the origin story movies where it focuses on one person, but I don't think that the crossover was distracting here. I think it was, like, fun and well done. I think that Hulk added something to the film, and I think that if it had just been one side or the other, it would have either been too silly or too serious. And I think that it was pretty smart that they did this, where in other times when they do the crossovers, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, in this film, when they see Doctor Strange, what the fuck did that add to this movie? Honestly, just marketing shit.
Got them to the field where Odin was.
That could have been done literally any other way.
It was just a way to integrate him because he was a new character in the MCU.
Yeah, and they want for
Get
marketing
some screen
stuff.
time.
Exactly.
That's
a good point.
That scene was the end scene after Doctor Strange, was when Thor goes to his place. So you kind of see that Thor and Doctor Strange are gonna meet. So then they just added it in this movie to kind of make it make sense. And yeah, it was unnecessary to me, but, like, I'm not that bothered by it, but I was completely unbothered by the Thor Hulk mashup crossover. I thought it was fun and cool. I guess other Henry facts, if this is gonna be the Henry facts segment. So I remember when we saw it, the first thing he said to me is, "Where's Beta Ray Bill?" And I was like, who the fuck is that, Henry? I don't know what you're talking about. And he then explained to me that in the Thor Ragnarok comic, Beta Ray Bill is this, like, alien chicken lizard guy.
I love the concept.
Who is basically the first person who is worthy to pick up Thor's hammer other than Thor. And so he kind of, like, fights Thor for the hammer because he's just as honorable as Thor is, and in the end, Beta Ray Bill ends up getting Stormbreaker, which is the hammer that Thor uses in Endgame, I think, that
Peter Dinklage.
When Peter Dinklage is a giant and forges him the new hammer. I don't know if you remember that scene, but that hammer is the direct reference to Beta Ray Bill because that's his hammer from the comics. And I guess Henry thinks that he's a cool character. Chicken Lizard, honorable man, sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
But I guess he was left out of this. Honestly, it probably would have been...
He's referenced, but, I mean...
Yeah, it would have been messy and confusing, I bet. But still probably a lot of fun.
But it would add it to the special effects, which were really good
Phenomenal.
in this movie.
I think...
it's a great segue.
But the Jungle Book won that year for the Oscars. No, we were saying not that this movie deserves an Oscar specifically.
If it were to, it probably would have been for special effects,
which
though.
is the only thing the Marvel movies ever get nominated for.
Didn't Black Panther get nominated
for best film? Yeah, I was gonna
for best
bring
film.
Up, yes, yeah, I was gonna bring up that in recent years, I do think they've tried to think a little more open-minded about what films they include, because they did. I think I do recall there being a lot of hype around it because it was really the first time a superhero action movie had ever been introduced into the discussion for the Oscars.
Do you...
deservingly so. I do think that that's probably the better
I have a
one.
question, though, is because this was around the time where, like, the whole trend of, like, Oscars so white was happening. Do you think that they kind of just were like, oh, we need to do something to show that we're not those guys? And they're like, okay, this is going to be the first MCU film that we pick, and we're going to pick Black Panther.
I mean,
just to, like...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the same year that BlacKkKlansman got a nominee. Not to say it didn't deserve it. I thought that movie should have won that year. But I do think that they will go out of their way to pick diverse, quote-unquote diverse films in order to avoid backlash. but then you award Green Book and you just show how regressive you actually are. So it ends up not really mattering when, you know, the Academy in the end does suck.
They're posers. They're just posers.
Because we just talked last week about how Get Out was kind of given a nod to the horror genre, but like, no, you just wanted to recognize a diverse movie because of the backlash.
Yeah, exactly. They've done it so many times.
But usually action superhero movies do get the nod for special effects or sometimes like score. But I would say that this movie is very good with special effects, but all MCU movies are because they're fucking loaded.
Yeah.
They've got so much money out the ass, they can do anything they want, you know? And I think that a Marvel movie winning an Oscar for special effects doesn't really mean anything, honestly.
I think that's true. Yeah, no, they really showed how much money they had when they just started off the movie with a Led Zeppelin song.
Yeah, right. That's like big flex on the music rights. I know, so like this was another little fun fact that they had a bunch of directors in consideration for this film, and they gave them like 10 bullet points. And they were like, this is kind of the core of what we want this movie to be. So take these 10 bullet points and expand on them and give us a little short video on, like, your concept. And Taika Waititi just took a bunch of clips from other movies and he put them all to Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. So that was, like, his original idea.
He's a visionary.
And so most of his clips were from the movie Big Trouble in Little China, which I don't know if either of you have ever seen it, but it's so fucking stupid. It's like Kurt Russell doing karate. It's really just awful. But so I just think that him...
Well, now I have to see it.
It's a little questionable as far as, like, representation of race. But yeah, he picked that song, and that was the song he used in the background of his, like, proposal video, and they were like, this is awesome, we pick you. And that's when they were like, we need this song, because that's, you know, the reason we gravitated towards your vision.
As you should, because, I mean, for the 2 scenes that they use it,
Epic.
It's outstanding. Oh my god. Like, that song, I mean, I think that song can elevate almost anything. Like, I'll be, like, walking to class, and I'll be listening to it. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I'm about to crush. Yeah, no, those are probably some of my favorite sequencing in, like, a fight scene for Marvel that I've seen so far. It was just badass as hell.
Yeah, and it's just the most entertaining moments. You're like, epic music, fun fight scene, like, fun graphics, cinematography. I think that's what you want out of a movie like this.
I was kind of curious how Setter, the big evil guy who comes out of the ocean.
Oh god, I don't know his name, but sure.
It's just Satan.
Satan.
Yeah, Satan. How he killed Cate Blanchett because
she's immortal.
Right. Did you see the spear go directly through her abdomen during the big fight scene?
Yeah, and it does nothing to her.
Courtyard?
Yeah.
So she's just chilling.
Yeah, right. I guess that does, like, bring in the question, if you're immortal, how do you die?
Right. Well, that's what, every time they do anything to Hulk, you're like, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Well, in any Marvel movie, anytime anything happens to anyone, it doesn't matter, because you know they'll just bring them back in some way or another.
Exactly.
Tony Stark is really dead.
They could revive the Marvel franchise. They're just not going to pick Robert Downey Jr. They'll pick young Iron Man or, like, some spin-off. You know what I mean? It's always going to come back in a roundabout way because capitalism.
Like the last...
Ding the bell for fucking Tony Stark and capitalism, I guess.
Like the last Marvel movie I have seen was the first Avengers movie. And since then, I was just like, oh, Loki's gonna be back. Because they're always bringing everyone back.
Yeah. I do like in this movie, though, so, like, at the point you are at with your watching of the Marvel movies, Loki's the ultimate villain, right? In the first Avengers movie, he is the main antagonist. He is pure evil. And then by the time you get to this movie, he's just kind of a funny side character.
Yeah.
And I think that this movie kind of positions him in a way that you would never have expected in 2012.
I really liked him in this.
He's great. And because Hela is the main villain, right? And she's pure evil, pure unadulterated, no moral conscience, power hungry evil. And you realize Loki's not...
It's like half-assed evil.
Yeah, like
he's dethroned him as the worst sibling.
Well, right? He's just kind of a trickster, a funny guy, maybe self-motivated, you know, it's kind of silly. But so then you kind of look back and you're like, oh, that whole big conflict was probably just him doing a bit. You know? He was probably like, this will be fun. And then he takes over planet Earth, you know? Whereas in this movie, because he and Thor do have that kind of sibling relationship, because you think, oh, like, they must hate each other, but then they do have those, like, brotherly moments throughout the series.
Yeah, speaking of bits, that get help moment was probably my favorite in the entire
whole movie.
It was just,
So
it
good.
it very much touched on, like, the brotherly thing, and it was just so funny.
And also just imagine if they had done that in, like, Avengers Endgame. Or, like,
Yeah, you
Civil War.
can't.
You know, one of the serious ones. You would have been like, what is this tonal shift? Like, what is happening? But in this one, it fits so good. And yeah, I just think Thor is so likable in this one. His character is so funny. I think Chris Hemsworth really sells it. And, yeah, I definitely like their, like, relationship here. As opposed to the other films where it's very, like, adversarial. You know, they can kind of work as a team, but maybe he's gonna turn on him. Who's to say?
You know, this very much fit, like, the sibling bill.
So, speaking of Chris Hemsworth, I wanted to ask you guys the age-old question of which Hollywood Chris is your favorite?
I already know.
So, Chris Pine, Chris Pratt, Chris
Fuck
Hemsworth.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt is out of the question, but I just like to throw him in there to, you know, if somebody says him, I know not to fuck with that person. But so Chris Pine, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and that's it. No Chris Pratt.
Chris Pine is my favorite, personally. I love him. He was in the Princess
Diaries.
too. That really just solidified him from an early age as my favorite one. And then the other two are pretty much just, like, Marvel guys, which I haven't gotten into. But I have seen Into the Woods, so I've seen Chris Pine a handful of times.
When he sings Agony,
I felt that.
yeah, that movie's not great, but that
Yeah.
scene really
The
does it for
chills.
me.
He's, like,
You're gonna
wet
pick
on a
Chris
waterfall.
Pine's performance in that movie over, like, Meryl Streep? Or-
Yes. Yes.
I mean, my personal favorite is Emily Blunt, always, but... And my personal bottom is James Corden, always. But I mean, Anna Kendrick was also very good in that.
What about you?
So I am gonna ask you, every time I pick an actor, you tell me how awful they are in real life, and I never realize that that is the case.
They're all pretty neutral.
Chris Evans is okay?
They're all pretty, yeah.
He's just a bootlicker.
Yeah, he loves the cops. But so basically, we just are canceling Chris Pratt because he fucking sucks. And, you know, for a number of reasons, cheating on his wife, loving to kill animals with his bare hands type of thing.
Doesn't he go to that big, scary Hollywood church guy?
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
like culty,
Yeah.
religion.
Yeah, he's homophobic type thing.
Yeah, like weirdly religious. Yeah,
His
not
poor new young wife, Maria Shriver's daughter, right?
She has no idea what she's in for.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, he's got money, so maybe she knows. But
I'm gonna go with Chris Evans, and you say he's only a Marvel guy, but he was in that movie that Snowpiercer's.
yeah,
that is- yeah.
Snowpiercer. No, Snowpiercer. That's the name.
Yeah.
Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
And then he's in Knives Out, and he's been in a lot of things, and he's from Mass.
Yeah,
That's very
I was
true.
gonna say that.
He's from Sudbury.
Yeah, a good Chris Evans reason would be good guy,
He's
local
local.
guy.
Yeah.
He's got a really cute
Yeah.
dog. He does play the same character in almost everything.
Yeah.
He's
That's
just
what-
that guy.
yeah.
You know, his acting does
Oh
not
my god,
impress me.
no! Fantastic Four. Yes,
I
right.
forget all about that. No, he is. He's just overshadowed by Captain America now. That all I think of him as is Captain America, and then I'm like, oh, he was in like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, or like
Yeah,
Knives
that's true.
Out, or
he
like
is always that guy.
yeah,
Like,
no, he was that guy. Yeah, but I mean,
Well, because he has
he
the
knows
look.
he knows his brand, and I respect that.
if you're a blonde man named Chris over 6 foot in Hollywood, you can basically do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, you can land any role. And he is a shining example of that. You don't have to have talent.
So you have to answer which is your
Oh, Chris Pine for sure. I'm not really here for Wonder Woman per se.
no, but he was good in.
He was fine. I just
He has great eyebrows.
yeah.
That is a great point.
I would
He was relief from Gal Gadot in that.
yeah, for sure. A nice breath of blue-eyed fresh air. And yeah, for the same reasons as you, basically Princess Diaries. He's a good
suave.
time. And he gives me the best vibes out of all of them.
Yeah.
He seems like he probably would be not a huge piece of shit.
Yeah, no.
But you maybe don't quote me on that in 2 years when some questionable allegations
And he's
come
like
out.
James T. Kirk, right?
Yeah, Star Trek.
He's like a silver fox now. He's getting there.
Yeah, sexy.
He was in a really bad Oscar nom, the Western one.
Oh my
I
god,
have no
Hell or
idea.
High Water.
Yes, yes.
I remember that was one that we were struggling to find a movie theater that was even playing it because it was that bad. So we drove like 2.5 hours out. We saw it and we were like, damn, that sucked, huh?
And it was like snowing, but we're like, we have to see this before
You're very
Sunday night.
dedicated.
we are. It was so unmemorable. Honestly, Somebody got paid off to put that one in for
I want to
Mom.
say Jeff Bridges was in that too.
Yeah, he was. It was him and Jeff Bridges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whack as fuck. Who would you say is your favorite performance in this movie? So your favorite
Jeff.
Chris. Jeff Goldblum? you
Yeah,
say?
no, hands
Oh no,
down.
Taika.
Taika Waititi voicing Korg is for sure so
He's
good.
very fun.
Soft-spoken New Zealand accent really brings it to the table.
And shout out to Tessa.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Tessa Thompson
She was
really.
incredible. I laughed so much at Jeff Goldblum that I can't, like...
He didn't have to speak and you started laughing.
He just like kind
I
of moves his
love
shoulders
him.
a little bit, and it just makes me giggle.
Yeah, I've got a poster of him on the back of my door, so like, how can I not?
You do not.
I swear to God, I do. One of my roommates gave it to me as a gift. It's him in like full like 1800s like war regalia. I'll send you a picture. There's
From a movie? Or?
No,
It's just
someone just paints pictures like this. My friend has one of Mac Miller in the same kind of getup. Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
I need to see that.
I'll bring it next time.
That's really funny. I do want to shout out Jeff Goldblum was a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race, and he just broke down in tears because he thought all the drag queens were so beautiful. He was just like, "This is such a beautiful art form," and he couldn't even like form coherent sentences because he was just so
trying
moved.
to flirt with them too, and they were not having it. That's my opinion.
Well, I think he's just kind of like a confusing. He's just a confusing man.
Have you seen that one interview of him like when the whole like Spider-Man like Sony versus Disney thing? It was a Disney thing was going on, and he was just like, What are you talking about? I can't believe this."
Yeah, he's so silly. He's such a silly man.
I just want to hang out with him.
Yeah, right.
I want to
Glass
have
of
like
wine.
exactly. I want to have a cocktail,
A champagne cocktail. Hey, Jeff Goldblum, come be on the pod.
Please.
I'll make you a champagne cocktail. We can do some eyeliner together. I think it'll be nice. This is, I think, almost every other episode we invite a celebrity on, and we haven't heard back from any of you guys. So what gives?
I'll tweet to Florence Pugh or something like that for the
I have
last one.
tweeted at Tom Holland almost every day for the past 4 years, and he never gets back to me. So
like, speaking of champagne cocktails, are you guys gonna do the...
Are we gonna pair anything
you
with
would
this?
pair with this movie?
I have no idea.
I would just say something really fun, like maybe like fruit punch or like something colorful. This movie's so colorful, like something with blue curacao in it. Maybe like a tiki drink. I don't know. It gives me that sort of.
do like an
vibes.
apple teeny kind of thing.
Taika Waititi.
Martini?
Tiki martini.
I like that. It's a stretch, but I like it.
I just think anything like from a punch bowl.
Yeah,
with,
so
You don't think you'd go
just
with
something
like something in
fruity.
a chalice? Like
sure.
I mean, you could put you could
blue
or a
punch in a
goblet,
chalice.
in a goblet.
Yeah.
really badass.
I mean, I guess you're gonna have to buy cups for this viewing, but yeah, I don't know, just something fun. And I think the same thing for snack. Make some fucking Totino's pizza rolls.
Yeah, really.
Some
Just,
pizza bagels.
Yeah, just
Ball out.
get some good, like, just make some hot nachos.
I was gonna say cheese fries. Yeah.
cheese fries or nachos. Something very like broy, type of thing. But like if you do like loaded nachos, I feel like you're in for a good time.
Yeah, margaritas would be fun with this movie too.
Yeah.
Maybe like add blue curacao to a margarita. or
Tequila
something.
with this movie is definitely a good time.
In the cards,
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
that's probably the best.
I would
call.
say maybe you could like play off with the color palette and do like something green for like the Hulk or Loki, and then maybe I don't know what color would like Thor be?
I
Maybe
guess
like
he's more
red.
but that's like he's not. It's like pretty muted.
I guess maybe
He's
it's
got the
not
cape.
that. But like something maybe like blue for Jeff Goldblum. I don't know. A lot of this movie is very colorful, and I think a lot of characters have like staple colors.
Yeah, and
so if you wanted to be like, oh, I'm having the Jeff Goldblum, and it's just like a blue sparkly champagne cocktail. Like I think that would be fun. I think you
Or
could,
the creamy white one could be for the Valkyrie.
yeah. I do think her outfit switch in this movie was epic because she's kind of got like messy eye makeup and like a sloppy high pony, and then Thor's like, put this on, put this on for the big
He's
fight.
like, hey, do it for me.
And then she changes and she like slow-mo walks down a
whipping her
runway.
hair.
Oh, that moment was the peak of this film for me. I think Tessa Thompson in general, just she can do no wrong.
So beautiful.
She's
Oh,
so
God.
beautiful. So like classy, but like funny and down to
badass.
earth at the same time. Yeah, badass, but like relatable. She's very cool.
I love when Mark Ruffalo says, "Is that face tattoo for how many people she's killed?" 3 white stripes.
That is, did we say Mark Ruffalo is somebody who never won an Oscar? Yeah, so
Yes.
I think this movie's packed with like big name people who maybe don't always get recognized, and maybe it's because in a roundabout way they do films like this, which kind of maybe take them out of the conversation sometimes, because if you're going to be Hulk, you're filming probably 80% of your career is dedicated towards these films because that's your big thing.
So you
that's
think the Academy purposely doesn't reward them?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say they're like, we don't want to recognize somebody
Because you chose
who
too
does
many
something so lowbrow, something so pedestrian. You know what I mean? So like, even though he has been nominated and kind of recognized a little bit in the past, I do think that quote unquote stooping down to like more blockbustery movies will take you out of the conversation for Oscars. You
100%.
notice they reward the same people time and time again.
And not that Oscars is for a body of work, but we've always said a really good actor can pull off The Kids Are Alright and Hulk.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
For sure.
Great movie, by the way.
I do want to pose the question, like, do you think that the Oscars specifically should broaden their horizon and recognize more different genres of film, maybe taking into consideration what the people like, what's popular, what is making a lot of money? Or do you think that movies like that have their own award shows, MTV, People's Choice, that the Oscars doesn't need to take anything into consideration other than what the Academy thinks?
I would agree with you that they get plenty of props and plenty of recognition and, like you said, plenty of money making, which is the ultimate goal.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So do they really care that they're not winning an Oscar? Yeah.
I mean, like Jen said, I think you've got your own thing going and you've got the People's Choice Awards. I mean, traditionally the Oscars are that highbrow
Like cinemaphile or cinephile.
cinephile thing. It's not gonna try to be anything else. That's exactly what it is. You're looking for like the sort of the high art movies and everything like that. And so these, I mean, I'm sure so many different like comic book fans can come at me and say like, oh well, this is art, and it's like, it's not.
It's just a different kind of art.
It's entertaining. It's entertainment, which is like you said, a different form of art, but it's not
what the Oscars is about.
It's not asking any like hard hitting questions, and it's not making you really think about something like. And that's not a bad thing. This was a very fun movie. I enjoyed the hell out of this, but it was just like you said, shut my brain off and watch a fun movie.
Yeah, and I guess maybe that could kind of pose why Black Panther got recognition, because it did kind of ask those higher questions, bigger overarching themes, things to represent and prove, which, like you said, I do think that they were grabbing at straws for representation to try to make themselves look better, which is bullshit. But I do think it's kind of a bummer when you look at some actors, like you said, have a great body of work and still cannot be formally recognized as Academy Award winner. When they introduce somebody, they'll be like 3-time Golden Globe winner, so-and-so, or like Academy Award winner. Nobody says People's Choice Award, MTV Teen Choice Award winner Mark Ruffalo. Like, that's not the thing. Those are those big stamps that you can put on your career where you get the kind of the suffix. I think somebody who does have a really great body of work could be missing out because they're not doing those quote-unquote artsy Oscar movies, which is kind of a bummer that happens to be the award that we hold on the highest pedestal, and it's the very select few.
It seems kind of a shame, too, because it feels like once you kind of sign off to doing a Marvel movie or anything like that, it's like you're kind of like resigning to doing this sort of standard of work.
Like, I feel like
sort of. Like, I mean, it seems like a hard thing to break out of after that, which, I mean, I'm sure it's been done, but like a lot of the actors that have gone on to do Marvel movies are like actors that had like vast resumes beforehand. It's like Robert Downey Jr. and like Scarlett Johansson and
But so do you think that like an Academy, if you haven't won an award at this point, it's over for you?
I don't want to say it's over for you, but I think you put yourself at a bit of a disadvantage, probably.
Well, like Brie Larson won one beforehand.
Exactly.
Right, but
And
has
not
she
to say
gotten
that-
recognized since?
Not to say that it has to be the goal of your career to win that specific award, because I know it doesn't really mean a lot to everyone.
Yeah.
It just depends. But I think that is an interesting point. I mean, not to make everything about Tom Holland. This isn't a Tom Holland podcast. But if I do say his name enough times, maybe his people will get in touch with our people.
Yeah,
but
not just trash on us for saying he can't be James Bond.
No, but honestly, that's the point I'm making is at this point, I think Tom Holland has pigeonholed himself. He is adorable, lovable Spider-Man, and now he's trying to do serious roles, and it's tanking because we can't see it.
He did the Cherry was just, I haven't even seen it and I know it's bad, and I mean, I know Chaos Walking is bad, and what was the other one? The Devil All the Time.
Yeah, I mean,
it was fine.
I mean, maybe he's just in his tank era, but I do agree that maybe once you've gotten yourself into this action superhero universe, you're kind of resigned to it.
Exactly, you've kind of, typecasting yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
which
really,
isn't a bad thing. Tom Holland could probably retire tomorrow, be set for the rest of his life.
You're
but
extremely successful at this point, but is
he ever going to win an Oscar? I doubt it. He'd have to really change shit up. I don't know.
Yeah, he can do some serious acting, but it's like if you're going to continue working with Marvel and the Russo brothers and all that jazz, which he probably will because he's 20-something years old and he's playing Spider-Man. But you know what I mean? Like, he's going to be Spider-Man for the next 20 years or something like that, and
which is good. Good for him.
Yeah, great money, I'm sure. But if you want to be a serious actor, I don't know that you can be Spider-Man at the same time. I mean, Andrew Garfield, like, he's kind of broken out of it, but I mean, I can't like.
Hacksaw Ridge, not great.
Yeah, the people will say otherwise.
Really?
I feel it's people like it or people hate it, and I've seen half of it, and I'm leaning towards dislike. But that's just me.
That was another one that was hard to see on the Quest. It was almost out of theaters, and we went to a place with like ripped chairs. And
oh God!
The popcorn,
stale popcorn.
Popcorn came in a brown paper bag.
No!
We also saw Arrival at that theater as well. Also,
was that
How
normally
did you like Arrival? No? I feel like that's a very, like, sort of critically acclaimed one, which is, I mean, on our quest for snubs, we're thinking about doing an Amy Adams.
An Amy Adams.
Oh, I think there are 10 more Amy Adams roles where she did a better job. Than
I'm looking at
Enchanted?
American Hustle.
Yes, as you
like
should.
that. Thank you. I really like that one.
Fun fact, our neighbor was an extra in that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well,
They were filming in Worcester, right?
Yeah, they filmed all over Worcester. Yeah.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
have
No.
to
Well,
do that one.
you're a Jennifer Lawrence hater, so.
I'm not a hater. I just am not a fan.
Do you like Jennifer Lawrence, Jen?
I do like J-Lo.
I love Jennifer Lawrence. Have you seen Mother?
No, it's not on my radar. Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah, that's why it's not on my radar.
Fair enough.
Is J-Lo awesome in it?
Oh, she's so. That's probably like everyone like. I mean, she won the Oscar for Silver Linings and everything like that. Like as she should. She was great in that. But Mother is very much like her. I would say her best acting and probably the most demanding role she's done so far. It's all like an allegory for Christianity, and Javier Bardem is there, and it's just.
I'll watch it for Javier.
Michelle Pfeiffer is there.
Okay, maybe I'm sold. But so we're a little straight off the beaten path, so I'm gonna bring us.
Oh wait, segue for straight off the beaten path. I have a game I want you guys to play.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I wrote it down.
Okay, is it rapid fire? Oh no!
Okay, so when you were little and we were in the car, which we were in the car a lot for some
Yes.
reason.
Oh, are we playing chocolate or vanilla?
Yes, we're playing chocolate or vanilla. So I'm gonna say 2 movies and you have to pick one. Okay. So chocolate or vanilla is you say, which do you like, chocolate or vanilla?
Okay, yeah.
So which do you like?
Vanilla.
Okay.
Chocolate.
So here's the rule though. You have to pick one.
Okay.
Because
You can't waffle. It's a gut instinct.
Okay.
exactly. Because you would always have that one friend.
No, I'm
who would
nervous.
Say, I don't want to choose.
You have to answer these two.
Like
as
have
well.
an opinion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
I'll
want
let you
to.
too.
Yeah, I would like to know your
All
opinion.
right. So chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. All right.
The order is going to be Emily, Dara, Jen, in case you don't know our voices by now.
Okay. Wizard of Oz or the original Willy Wonka?
Willy Wonka.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Iron Man or Wonder Woman?
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Wonder Woman. Sorry. Departed or The Town?
Departed.
Departed.
I just watched that.
Departed.
If you pick The Town, you're a whack ass, crusty, no good opinion bitch. The Town is a store brand off-brand, on the sale rack version of The Departed, and I don't even think that The Departed is that good.
You are not making this rapid fire.
I'm sorry, I just hate The Town. I fucking hate that
I don't
movie.
even know what movie that is.
Well, if there was an Academy Award nom for that, Jeremy Renner, come on.
He sucks.
I hate Jeremy Renner.
Fuck
But
Jeremy
he was
Renner.
so good. Is he an
That's why I
awful
didn't
person?
like. That's why I didn't.
The-
Oh,
I
he's
wa-
a dick.
His app.
He has an app?
He did. Oh, we'll talk about this later. No, the entire time I watched The Avengers, I was just ripping on Jeremy Renner the entire time because he's 40
the
years
least
old.
impressive Avenger.
Oh, he's
Come on.
terrible.
Yeah.
He's so terrible.
He's
Okay.
cool in the comics, but they
Yeah.
made him suck in the. Yeah, anyways.
It's just because it's
Just
Jeremy
because it's
Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner fucking
Okay.
sucks.
All right, I'm sorry. Back to Chocolate or Vanilla.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
Harry Potter.
Lord of the Rings.
Harry Potter. Lilo and Stitch or Moana?
Lilo and Stitch.
Moana.
Lilo and Stitch. Bohemian Rhapsody or Rocket Man?
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
No.
We are a Bo Rap hating podcast. Fuck that movie. That movie
Is
sucks.
Rami Malek awful?
You should talk to my. It's my mom loves Bohemian Rhapsody. It seems like a very different.
It's a mom movie.
Yeah.
It was a masterpiece.
It was not.
I stand Taron Egerton singing Benny and the Jets.
Okay.
Moonlight or La La Land?
Moonlight.
Moonlight.
Moonlight. I just had to put that in there.
As you should.
Mamma Mia or Les Mis?
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. Iron Giant or Big Hero 6?
Iron Giant.
Iron Giant.
Big Hero 6. Fantastic Four #1 or Fantastic Four #2?
Number one.
Number 2, The Silver Surfer.
#1. That's it. That's my chocolate or
That was
vanilla.
good. That
Yeah.
was. We're gonna honestly. We should make that a regular thing.
that was
I really
great.
liked that.
That was great. In a similar vein, I wanted to pose the question. So, in our very first episode, The Incredibles, you and I kind of had a conversation about if you could have any superpower, what would you want? And I wanted to narrow it a little bit for the sake of this. You're confined to the Marvel universe, right? You get the powers of any singular Marvel character. So you're like, oh, I want to be Hulk. And you get the Hulk's powers. So who would you pick?
The Hulk seems
For
like
yourself.
a fucking burden. I wouldn't want him.
Yeah.
That is.
I'll go first. Can I go first?
Yeah,
go
please.
Captain Marvel
She
is
is
the strongest female.
She's the strongest
one.
superhero. Yeah.
I want to be the strongest of the strong. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think that would be tough at times?
Oh, I'm not really a leader, but now
You
that
know
you say it
yourself.
that way, but I don't want to be Jeremy Renner.
No. I like Captain Marvel for you though.
I'll be Captain Marvel.
I can see that for
Yeah.
you.
And I want her short, cute haircut in the second movie.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't seen much Marvel, so this is a hard one for me.
Well, just like baseline, you know what all their powers are. You could be Scarlet Witch. She's cool.
I did watch like 3 episodes of WandaVision.
I can see that for you.
I would like just to be Black Widow because she does that thing where she throws her legs around someone's head and like snaps their neck.
Pussy slams right into their face. She has so many extremities that she could be hitting them with, but she's like, know what? Coochie first. And she pussy slams right into their face.
It's so distracting.
It is so, they're like, oh, a girl superhero? What's her biggest weapon? The vulva. I'm sorry. There is such that trope about that the girl superheroes fight with their ass and their front. It's just so stupid.
I was just thinking that we got through this whole thing very PG-13, and I was really happy.
We were gonna offer to you that you could sit out of the fuck, marry, kill if that made you uncomfortable.
No, I can hang with that.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
But
Sorry.
I have no idea who I'd want to be. I like the idea of being Iron Man, just being able to put on a suit and just vibe, and like it seems like a lot of protection as well.
Like Batman vibes, like he doesn't have any powers, but he has a lot of money.
I'm okay with being average, but if I can put on a suit, but Spider-Man's cool. I want to swing. I want to swing from some
And
buildings.
he's not like my gut reaction is Spider-Man for sure. I think his powers are not so to that extreme where he has the responsibility to like uphold the moral greater good. Even though Spider-Man does do
That's
that.
just because of his age. Everybody, he's like being mentored.
Yeah, but if he could just be neutral, it's not like the world would end or anything. Whereas like Captain Marvel, you got to do the right thing or else shit's gonna get fucked. But so Spider-Man, I think you could kind of be chillin', which I like, and I kind of like the like he gets to creep around on walls and stuff and like swing. I would really like to swing a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. So I my gut instinct says Spider-Man, but I think a fun alternate choice would be a Mantis from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
You lost me.
Does she even have powers?
Yes, she's the one. She looks like a bug, and she has little antennas. And she can touch people and feel their emotions, and then she can use her power to kind of like manipulate people. So she can touch you and make you happy. Or she can make you fall asleep.
Doesn't
That's
the vampires
lovely, but
in
that's whack.
Twilight do that?
Yeah. So, coming full circle, I want to be Edward from Twilight, is what I'm saying.
We should have had you on the Twilight episode.
But ultimately, Spider-Man. I pick Spider-Man.
See, now that you bring up Guardians of the Galaxy, I'd rather just be a raccoon.
Bradley Cooper as a raccoon.
With a big gun. Like
Groot. Being Groot would be fun if you could just be a tree.
Yeah, just a baby Groot. You have no responsibility.
You just get to be really cute all the time. You're like, oh, I'm dancing. And everyone's like, you're the star of the film.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that'd be my ideal situation. But
if I do a little jig and everyone's like, ah, yes,
give
us more.
Just shake my ass a little bit and
See,
I'm good.
when I do that now, people tell me, go home. We've seen enough.
But in the Marvel franchise, you'd be
only if I was
star.
a small house plant.
So should we do...
Yeah, I guess we can do Fuck, Marry, Kill. We've discussed, though, that this is going to be hard. This is one of the hottest films we've done yet.
I told you. I was like, this is probably the sexiest Marvel movie.
Like, I was almost going to say that we each get to fuck 3 people. Like, God, it's so hard to choose. But
it's not Fuck, Marry, Kill. It's just fuck.
No, but so we are going to have to do Fuck, Marry, Kill. But I guess we can, right now, so if we're going to confine it, how about the Revengers? You get to pick between Bruce Banner, not as Hulk, Thor, and Valkyrie.
Okay. I don't want to kill any of them.
You have to.
I know. Bruce.
You'll have the bread width. Is that a word? You'll have the width of the whole film later.
Well, I don't want to. Well, here's the thing: is I don't want to marry Valkyrie because she's just an alcoholic. And
not anymore. She's not.
That seems problematic.
She took out her ponytail. What are you talking about?
You're right. See, because Bruce seems like a lovely man, so I could marry him. But also, he is the Hulk, so I don't want to have to deal with that. So I guess I would marry Thor, fuck Valkyrie, kill Bruce unwillingly. I'd be apologizing the whole time.
Yeah. I think it's tough because, like, you have to consider their lifestyle and, like, what you want to adapt to. And, like, I just don't know if I'm ready to be a queen, you know? I don't know if I have that in me. So,
fair. Are you ready to just be drunk with Tessa Thompson?
That is what I'm ready for, is what I'm saying, is that a life with Tessa Thompson where we booze it up and sell trash to...
That sounds like your brand.
Yeah, so I'm going to marry Tessa Thompson, I'm going to fuck Thor, and I guess I'm going to kill Bruce Banner. He's not really bringing much to the table here.
No.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna F Thor because of his arms.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Valid.
Then,
do you want the short hair or the long hair? Pre or post haircut?
yeah.
I'll go short hair.
Mine's short hair, yeah.
That's a great haircut.
Right.
Yeah, complete with the cool stripe on the
Right?
side.
Oh my
You're
god.
like, oh, so tussled and messy, but it's like very meticulously
Stanley
done.
had the time that day. He was like, wait, let me give you a cool lineup.
But he like was shaking a little bit
Yeah.
because he's old, so he's like, ah.
Okay.
And then marry Bruce Banner. And then I'm so sorry I didn't want to kill anybody, but Tessa, I guess we'll have to go.
That's fair. So
Oh, what about the whole movie? It's so hard, but you gotta pick somebody.
I'm marrying
Jeff Goldblum?
yes, Jeff
Yeah.
Goldblum. Exactly. I can't not.
question.
Do you like I would have such a fun time with him. You know what I mean? Like,
Right? Being the overruler of a planet, we could wear matching eyeliner. Are you kidding me?
He does my makeup in the
The
morning.
couple's fits are, oh my god, we would rule Instagram. Are you
Exactly,
kidding?
exactly.
We could be influencers and live off of that alone.
You get it.
For sure.
Yeah, so I would, marry him, fuck Kate Blanchett because it's Kate Blanchett, and then also kill Kate Blanchett.
There were a few times during this movie where she would be doing something very aggressively violent, and you and I were both like, ooh, this is kind of nice, huh? she's so stunning in this movie. I think her costume's so awesome. Her hair and makeup is stunning. And yeah, I definitely think because this is something kind of out of her usual, it's really fun to see her like that.
It was
so I totally
it was
agree.
refreshing.
I I'm gonna have to agree with you that I'm gonna marry Jeff Goldblum, but I will say
you.
Idris Elba's a close second.
Yeah.
I love a community organizer, a local leader, and a catalyst for peace. I don't know. He's really just doing the right thing. He
Something
seems
about those eyeballs. that
those
he's
orange
got.
eyeballs. So he's great, but honestly, I'm gonna have to pick Jeff Goldblum because a life
Yeah.
of partying is what I want. So I'm
Can we
gonna
be in a throuple?
Yes. Oh my god, that is perfect. We can be the two girls with the weird ball haircuts.
He would so be on our podcast.
Jeff
He would love
Goldblum.
us.
Emily has a
we're-
framed photo of you in her room if you'd like to come sign it.
We're waiting.
Yeah, we'll watch The Fly or any of your films, honestly.
Yeah. Just let us know.
Just let us, that we're throwing out a lot of invites this time. We're gonna be flooded with responses. By God,
Our people will talk to your people, and by our people I mean Jen.
Jen fully though we do have to give credit. Jen is fully our unpaid intern. She comes up with like 5 or 6 handwritten notes worth of facts for each movie that we do, even if they're ones she's never seen. She IMDb's that shit and she gets us some good facts. And we picked this movie about an hour before we started watching it, and she still came up with 5 pages of facts within that 1 hour.
I
So
have not been an unpaid intern since the 80s.
I would like to implore all of our listeners to buy some of our merch so that we can start
paying Jen, so we can do the right thing and give Jen not
a
even minimum
salary.
wage, like a 10% cut. It would not even, that'd be like a couple of dollars, honestly. But I'm gonna have to. Who do I want to fuck? Everyone in this movie is so hot.
So fuckable.
Oh yeah, what a great cast. Oh wait, I kind of want to marry Korg too. What a sweet man. What a nice gentleman. Yeah, inter species marriage. I don't know if that's legal yet, but I guess I'm gonna still fuck Val. No, I married her last time. I'll fuck Valkyrie. She seems like a romp, and I am going to kill Carl Urban for doing the wrong thing.
Kyle Irving.
Yeah, my mom thought his name was Kyle Irving for the longest time because Henry and I would say Carl Urban in his accent, which is like Kyle Urban. She's like, who's Kyle Irving? And what about you? You get the whole film.
I'll still F Thor because of his arms.
That's very fair.
Super cut.
You're not. What about Hulk as Hulk? His arms are even bigger. If your
too big,
standard
too
is
big,
too
too
big,
big,
okay,
too big.
okay.
And then
No.
I will marry Matt Damon's version of Loki.
He's a community theater actor. Do you know what you're getting yourself into? Community theater performer Matt Damon on Asgard, which promptly gets blown up.
Love Matt Damon. And then
You're in for a life of
Yeah,
hurt.
we almost did. We bought a zoo for this.
No, we
podcast.
didn't. No, we didn't.
And then I will kill the lady who gives Jeff Goldblum the melting stick, who drives the other plane.
She was so fun, though.
She was so evil.
Yeah, she was just really good at her job.
Yeah.
She was very serious. Very
Committed
serious
to
woman.
capitalism.
that's a fun pick though, I guess.
That is a good pick.
I would say though an incentive to marrying Hela, even though she does die at the end, would be her dog, her huge dog. Imagine just like getting cuddled up with that humongous puppy.
Usually like my dog like lays on me.
I could lay on the dog.
Yeah,
It'd be
exactly.
so nice.
You know how warm I'd be?
He could be maybe a little smelly though. I bet.
Just give him a good bath.
Dogs don't sweat. I learned pretty recently.
Just through their pod pads.
just through their little paw pads when they get nervous. And so, what would you follow this movie up with if you were doing like a viewing party? What would you pick next? So I think two movies that come to mind right off the bat are other Taika Waititi films. So a Jojo Rabbit next would be really fun, or
that's a great choice.
Things We Do in the Shadows
yeah.
could also be really fun if you're sticking to that sort of theme. And don't say another Marvel movie. One and done is enough. I never want to watch 2 in a row. Like that's exhausting.
I've been doing that for like the last like
Oh my
month.
God,
And it takes the life out of me. I end up just regretting it afterwards.
The only ones I could do that with are the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. And those aren't even Marvel. I mean, well, they're Marvel, but they're not like MCU.
Watching Iron Man 2 and the Avengers back to back just took the life out of me. I had to like sleep for a whole day afterwards just to recharge.
Don't you love Jon Favreau, though?
I do, but
I
it's
love him.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think that
Jon Favreau, if you'd like to be on the podcast,
Yeah.
let us know. We're big fans.
We'll do chef sometime.
You can come make us Cuban sandwiches. I would love that. We'll have your people talk to our people. Again, you, Tom Holland, Jeff Goldblum, and who else did we invite?
I don't know.
You can all come. We can all hang out. We can have 5 guests at once.
Yeah, no.
We can make the scheduling work.
We're doing you a favor.
Actually.
Yeah, I think Jojo Rabbit's a good choice, because that's a very fun movie. Also, it's got Scarlett Johansson, who is an Avenger in it. I don't know. This was a very fun movie, so it feels like you have to follow it up with a very fun movie.
Well, I was gonna say a big plot twist, something very harsh, like Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Jesus.
Or like
Schindler's List.
yeah, like, yeah, something tough, something gritty.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything in particular, Jen.
I will go relationship-wise. Chris Hemsworth's wife was in Fast and Furious franchise.
I knew she'd sneak it in.
Whichever one she debuted in, which was, I think, Fate of the Furious, maybe? Maybe it was like the 4th one?
I have some faith in him as a person because he has had him and his wife seem like a good couple, and he seems to really love his kids a lot, and his, you know, not to say that his public presence is any reflection of what he's actually like as a person, but from what I can tell, he doesn't seem like a piece of shit, so that's always nice. We love to see it. We love men who don't cheat on their wives. Low bar.
Thank God for them.
Yeah. I mean, you could just go, I'm thinking of, because we always do the, one actor was in this. Actor's in that. You could do Zodiac.
Zodiac. So I was trying to convince Jen to pick Zodiac for the sake of actors because I'm a Jake Gyllenhaal stan. And also Mark Ruffalo's in that, and also just, you know, general, that could have been
Both
in the Oscar
actors who didn't have
combo.
one, yeah.
But we wanted to do something a little more fun than Zodiac, which is agreeable. So I agree. I think Zodiac would be a really a fun, maybe not quite as harsh of a twist as Boy in the Striped Pajamas, but maybe just the twist that you need. So Zodiac, I could say
It's a pretty mild psychological thriller, honestly. Like, it's good, but, like, it didn't, like, shake me like Midsummer did, if we're putting it up against things we've watched.
Yeah, well, it's also based on true events.
It should shake you because it's real.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's based on something that's real, so there's only so crazy it can get, like...
Real life doesn't seem shocking anymore.
Yeah, right?
Sadly.
I would just want to, like, when we're talking about Zodiac, do you know how to say her name? Chloe
Sevigny.
Chloe Sevigny
Love her.
in that movie is my fashion icon. She just has, like...
Oh my god, have you... Just in that movie or in general?
Well, in general, I absolutely
her in the
love
90s.
her.
She was...
Oh my God,
my favorite thing
everything.
about Chloe Sevigny is she was just, like, walking on the street and she was just, like, really fashionable and she... I forget, I read a whole bunch about it, but, like... Some fashion magazine was like, you! I want you! You look great! And then she just ended up in, like, a music video and her whole freaking career just took off, and then she's been a model and in movies and in TV shows.
Great. I love her in that movie, though, as Jake Gyllenhaal's, like, upset wife. She just has, like, really big square glasses and, like,
love it.
cool little outfits.
Yeah.
I really love her.
She's fantastic.
Anyways, this isn't about Zodiac. What would you rate Thor Ragnarok, 1 through 10?
6.
Yeah, I was also going to give it a 6.
Mm-hmm. This was the most fun Marvel movie that I've watched, but I feel
It's a
like...
big bummer that we're giving it a 6, huh? Like, imagine if we watched fucking Civil War.
I've consistently given, like, every Marvel movie that I've watched, like a 1 star on Letterboxd. And, like, my friends will be like, oh, wow, what are you rating it? I'm like, none of your fucking business, because it's gonna hurt your feelings.
I did like when this came out, it got a lot of positive feedback, and I'm really excited for Taika Waititi because he, like, pretty much straight up said that he had no interest in directing movies that were about making money, you know? He was like, oh, if you're gonna have me do this, but my vision is gonna be compromised for the sake of your franchise, I'm not into that. They're like, no, we love you, do whatever you want, and it ended up working out great.
So good.
But so since he's been kind of put into the public eye, I'm not gonna say because of this movie, because his other stuff has done very well additionally, but I think because of his success with this specific movie, he's been in the talks, and I believe he's going to direct some future Star Wars So the upcoming
thank
Star Wars,
God.
which really that franchise needs
Something
some new
fresh.
perspective, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what he does with it. Hopefully,
Yeah.
he can do for Star Wars what he did for the MCU, which is kind of show up and be like, "Fuck your shit, I'm doing what I want."
I
which
don't
is
know what
awesome.
other Star Wars could be in the works, honestly, though. I mean,
Infinite Star Wars. Are you kidding?
Very true. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I hope they don't try and do another trilogy. Just let it end.
yeah.
Just do the offshoots. Maybe in like 20 years, but please, just give it a
Yeah,
rest.
let us breathe. The Mandalorian's the perfect example of how you can
so
take
good.
something like minuscule and turn it into a whole thing without making it an entire new installment
He
into the
could
franchise.
do something really good with Ahsoka Tano.
Right? I
whatever.
I don't really know what specifically he's in the works to be doing, but I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Taika Waititi, really cool. Really cool guy.
Yeah, great job on this.
If you want to be on the podcast with Jeff Goldblum, Tom Holland, and who else? Kate Blanchett?
Yeah.
Is she coming?
I mean, she can. We'll send the invite.
Let's send out some RSVPs.
Uh-huh.
They're for sure coming. So Taika, if you'd like to join us, we're having a little bit of a soiree. Anyways, this is The Swamp. Thank you so much, Jen, for being here. Thank you for letting me live in your house. Thank you for doing the dishes when I forget sometimes. You're a really great mom, and you're an even better intern, giving us all the facts, all of the inside scoop for every movie. We would be lost without you. Thank you
truly.
for being a guest, and we're super excited for our Oscars episode with you.
Can't wait.
So if you guys want to find us on the internet, we're at theswamppodcast.com. You can listen to our episodes. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We also have merch on our website. We have tote bags, stickers, pins. We also have movie pins that are for all different sorts of films. On my Etsy, all the money goes towards getting us new and better equipment, help us sound better. And check us out on Instagram and Twitter at The Swamp Pod. And tell us what you think about this movie. What do you think about Marvel? What do you think about the MCU? Does it suck? Do you agree? Do you love the MCU? And are you going to come for us and be like, actually, Bucky Barnes is a really complex character who you didn't give enough credit to? And to that I say, he wasn't even in this movie, so shut the fuck up. Anyways.
Good night and goodbye.
Good night and goodbye. Good night and goodbye. Good night and goodbye. Good night and goodbye. Good night and goodbye. Good night and goodbye.